So I want to talk about a couple of things today, and they both involve legendary athletes and some social media usage and trouble they got into in the last 24 hours or so. So the first being LeBron James. LeBron James tweeted out a photo of an officer with the caption, "You're next, #accountability." Now, the officer in question is the officer who responded to a violent act being committed, or in the process of being committed, and shot and killed a 16-year-old girl. It's alleged that the 16-year-old girl was lunging at another girl with a knife, and this officer here decided to fire off his gun 4 times into her and kill her. So, I think on the heels of the Chauvin trial and the guilty verdict, LeBron tweeted this out as in, "You're next," in terms of, you're going to face the consequences. Trouble is, it doesn't really read that way. It reads kind of like a target. Not surprisingly, LeBron faced extreme backlash on this and ultimately deleted the tweet. And he basically said, "Look, I'm taking it down because the tweet's being used for more hate than it is progress, and that's not the intention of it." And I can understand that. I think, and I'm going to try to read LeBron's mind here a little bit, I think that #accountability is really what he was trying to drive at regarding excessive force. That's the discussion. We are going to talk about the tweet because that's the sexy topic. But this officer fired 4 bullets into a 16-year-old who had a knife. There are a lot of other options available to him. Taser, pepper spray, maybe a really good body check. And that might be a Canadian way of viewing things, but I don't think that pulling the gun on a knife is necessarily the best option. And I think that's what LeBron was getting at, which is, why did we go to a gun when there was a knife involved? In theory, pepper spray probably would have done the job. A taser would have done the job. And I still maintain, after watching the video, if the cop had just run real hard and pushed her, it may have been enough to disarm or at least de-escalate the situation, which has kind of been at the crux of the whole Black Lives Matter police brutality movement, which is how much force is necessary and how can we de-escalate situations without resorting to gun violence. He took it down. He did the right thing. This is poorly worded. The message gets lost behind it. I get it. I understand that. But I will give him credit for saying, this is not what, it's being spun in a way that I don't want it to. I'm taking it down. Of course, all that did was leverage the fact that people were able to say about him, "See, he knew he was wrong. He knew it." Yeah, he knew he was wrong. He did something wrong and he took it down to correct the matter. That's what we should do in a society. If we've made a mistake, we should try to correct it. I'm going to give LeBron the benefit of the doubt on this one. But I'm not going to give the benefit of the doubt to Brett Farve, who, on his podcast, said, I don't think Chauvin meant to commit murder. Was it excessive force and was it uncalled for? Yes. But I don't think he intended to murder that young man. I got news for you. Murder is generally uncalled for. And, it shouldn't surprise me. The guy who used to be a cowboy or wanted to be a cowboy, even though he was a Packer, has these kind of old school, again, I'm going to call this dog whistle racism views. But this is a weird stance for a guy like him. I don't even know where to go with this one, to be honest, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it because Brett Farve hasn't been relevant in a really long time. I didn't know he had a podcast until he came out with this inflammatory remark. And did Derek Chauvin go too far? Yes, he murdered George Floyd. That's too far.